Hello.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Hi, Sabril. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Damien?
I am doing very well. Just getting back into the swing of it. Why not do a quick webcast on a Tuesday morning after Labor Day, just to get yourself stuck in, as it were, and ramped up for the work week.
Yeah, absolutely. Soft entry.
Well, thanks for joining. Um, so this morning we just wanted to spend 15 or 20 minutes taking a little preview look at what we're planning to do in a couple of weeks' time here in Salt Lake City, downtown. We're going to do a hands-on workshop, and we wanted to cover today just some of the topics, the key topics, and the motivators behind what we want to what we want to actually cover in the workshop itself. So, both myself and Sabre we will be running that workshop. And a lot of this came from, well, the motivation to do this came from multiple sources, but one of them is a webinar we did together a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
which went down really well. And there was lots of questions about that after the webinar, some questions and thoughts around that. And could we dive a little bit deeper and spend a little bit more time on some of the tooling? And Sabre, you've actually run a workshop, hands-on workshop in the past, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
did a in-person workshop earlier this year that was really successful as well. I think in person can just be really nice and a little bit more collaborative. So this one will also be in person at the new Work Hive downtown, which is a
yeah.
beautiful space.
Yeah. Now you've actually seen that space, haven't you? I haven't seen it yet, but I'm hearing good things.
It's amazing. I think it'll be really fun just to see. And actually, we're getting a lunch catered as well from Robin's Nest, which is right across the street, kind of a
Nice,
Salt Lake City standard. Amazing sandwiches. That'll
nice.
be fun too.
Yeah, yeah. So we're really excited. I know there's a lot of questions around AI. There's a lot of missteps going on. There's some overwhelmed feelings sometimes. There's like, well, where do I start? What's really good for my business? And to back that up, I did a bit of research. I've done it on and off over the number of months, but I wanted to share this graphic with everyone, which is a huge motivator. So there's been several surveys conducted by various groups, various departments on what is AI, what is the current trends with AI adoption, who's adopting and how are they adopting it, and are they having success? Are they actually delivering business value and improve business value, improve throughput, or whatever it might be during that onboarding and execution of adopting AI tools. And so these numbers to me look pretty interesting. So for the most part, I think most small business owners, most small to medium business owners and businesses understand that they need to be involved in AI at some level. Now, you will find out during these surveys that about 60% of those surveyed, those small businesses surveyed, are using AI in some form. Whether it's benefiting them or not, we don't know, but they are using it. Now, of that 60%, then 40% have some sort of strategy, but the strategy tends to be, a bottom up type approach where, hey, you go off and find a few tools that might be useful for your job role,
Right.
and maybe let me know if they're working for you as a business leader. But good luck on that. And so it's a very ad hoc strategy. And again, are there metrics in place to measure whether or not you're getting value for that? You're actually increasing productivity. Is it helping? That's up in the air a little bit. The last 20% there at the bottom of the pyramid, upside down pyramid, 20% actually have a real, legitimate strategy, and it's coming top down. And for many companies, it needs to be top down. I mean, you could certainly have both, but your business leader really needs to take hold of what's important, what's the strategy for that particular business, how is it going to improve value, whereabouts are you going to target using these tools to really get the best return on investment.
Right.
whether that's a learning curve or actually, starting to use the tools.
Yeah.
Sabre, any comments on those numbers? They don't surprise you, I suppose.
No, not at all. And I think that probably one of the roadblocks for people is the amount of upfront work that top-down strategy takes. Thinking it through, setting up your systems, finding the right ones. That can be quite a bit of time taken for small businesses, things like that. However, once you do that, I think it's a breeze from there. So
Yeah.
it's a worthy investment to take that time and figure out that strategy. And that's part of, what we'll be helping people figure out and sharing what we've done to do that in this workshop.
Yeah, that's a really important point, that this workshop is really coming from our experiences, what we've seen works, what we haven't seen work so well, why we like the tools we use on a daily basis, those kind of things. So that's really where our, the backstory is in terms of this. It's they're handpicked in a lot of ways.
Right.
So a couple of slides here that I wanted to take everyone through as to what the content of the workshop will be. We've kind of divided it into 5 parts. Again, it's going to be 3 hours, very much hands-on, very much participatory. So we'll kick off with background, principles, and terminologies. We've done that several times now, Sabre, haven't we? And it is a good foundation point. Just make sure there's a baseline with everybody in terms of these terminologies, what we mean when we say something.
Right.
The other thing I want to mention is we want to cut through the hype, because goodness me, there's a lot. The amount of ads I get bombarded with these days off of YouTube, or whether it's some other media source, it's unbelievable. And everything's going to solve everything. It's going to also make a cup of tea and heat up my toast and crumpets.
Right.
It's going to be great. I can't wait. So aside from that, if we push all of that to one side and really look at what does really work, how you can make it work, how you can tune it for your business, that's really what we're getting at here.
Absolutely.
And then we want to touch on some real world success stories, and not least our own,
Right.
with our own businesses. Yeah. Third Sun and Vantage. Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's been really interesting for me to talk to some colleagues and clients and find out how they're using it in ways that I never would have thought of. So I am excited to talk about those too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's again, you bring up a good point there, because there's a lot of creativity that goes into using AI. It's not like AI is necessarily taking that creativity away. But one of the things we really want to stress is we're making AI a thought partner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's a general theme. It's not just about automation and offload a load of work over there and fingers crossed it comes back with something useful, but it's more to do with, hey, use AI to challenge your thinking process, to come up with other ideas, to help you with your strategy development around the adoption. So we want to emphasize that, and it is a theme right throughout.
Right.
Part 2, core AI tools and practices. Do you want to talk a little bit about this, Sabriel?
Cool. Yeah, this is something I did in my other in-person workshop as well, doing some live demos. So there's some, prompt engineering that we did, showing how some AI tools worked as well that people hadn't used or weren't familiar with as well. I mean, these were short demos, but can be really useful. And that's, part of that hands-on exercise, figuring out how to apply these to real tasks, again, as a thought partner, not just doing the work for you, but expanding what you can do. And then my new favorite AI tool is generative engine optimization. And so I predict it's going to replace SEO as a whole. This is how people use AI now to search the internet in general. And, Claude, ChatGPT, this is pretty great because they can have a conversation, dig into what they're searching for. And so this is how to get AI to recommend your business or company or what have you in those chats where people are searching for somebody who does what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember you forwarded me an article on this a few weeks ago, and it was fascinating.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was fascinating. And there is this whole discussion about how much is your traditional search engine, like a Google, like a Microsoft Edge or whatever, how is that going to match up to what GEO has to offer? Because a lot of people are going direct to AI. They're using
Yeah.
ChatGPT, they're using Claude. So how's that affecting your traditional SEO?
Yeah.
Um,
Even Google is using Gemini, and I'm
mm,
sure Microsoft Edge is using Copilot to push AI answers to the front instead
yeah,
of your traditional, searching through links. So
yeah,
it's changing across the board.
yeah, yeah. Back to your point on the prompt engineering, that's such a big one, because it's a good starting point for everybody. But using, prompting a large language model like a chat GPT with your kind of text, your normal phrasing that would use when you were using a search engine, a traditional search engine, it's very different. And people are kind of, unfortunately, still using using that approach for AI.
Right.
And we're going to talk a lot about how do you get a really good prompt together to get the answers that you want and to avoid things like hallucination.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
And, again, that's creative and challenging to create
Hmm.
a good prompt as well. So
Yeah,
expanding what you can do.
absolutely. So in part 3 of the workshop, we're actually going to start designing an AI workflow, and we'll have a couple of examples of those. Of maybe things we're thinking about is taking a kind of daily routine that you might do. Like, emails come to mind immediately, handling calendars, handling tasks, those kind of things, and actually show how you can put that together in a really good, you know, way to actually get some results from that.
Mhm.
So we're going to look at workflows. We'll actually take, for the participants, we'll take a particular problem as well, maybe a business problem or a business issue, and use AI as a thought partner to see if we can come up with some strategies for that particular business, something they may be struggling with, and show how you can interact with the large language models to perhaps help solve or help prompt ideas to support your process, your thinking.
Right.
And that's really exciting. I've found that immensely useful, taking that approach for my own business.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, we'll actually start using some real tools as well. So outside of the MML stuff, we'll start trying out some tools that, as I said, we we use in our everyday business, and we cover a lot of ground on that. And I think there's a slide coming up in a second that will give you a kind of breakdown of those. The part 4, guardrails, ethics, and confidence in using AI. Do you want to touch on this a little bit, Sabriel?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, this is a brand new world, right? And I think something important people, need to realize is that AI is not going away. So we need to figure out how to use it responsibly and securely. I think things are changing rapidly in how secure AI is, but there are, some things to consider, especially if you're a nonprofit. Small businesses as well in general,
Yeah,
but avoiding those pitfalls, those places where you may be using something you shouldn't use. Another thing is a little bit. This goes into it a little bit, but the hallucinations, making
yeah.
sure that you're questioning AI. So we'll go into that quite a bit. I think it's really interesting, and again, creative, and you're not relying on AI to do your work for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of negative thought and feeling around aspects of AI, and for good reason. I mean, absolutely, the human race is not super trustworthy all the time, and society. And how do we cope with all of this? We're being bombarded with it. It's coming on faster than ever any technology in the past. The human race has managed to adapt to these changes, these dramatic changes. You look at the printing press, you look at bringing on mechanized agriculture. And over the course of those times, we've had many years to adapt to those changes. Now with AI, it's full force. We've never seen such a an adoption curve, a learning curve as
Right.
steep as this one.
Yeah.
So we really want to touch on, how to use AI responsibly in a positive way. And again, I'm re-emphasizing thought partner as a thought partner to support everyone in the business, from the leadership team down to the staff, the crew, the team, so that they're all benefiting from using these tools.
Absolutely.
And then, the last part is to take the participants and come up with some AI strategies for everybody. Everything's going to be, everyone's going to have a slightly different perspectives, different issue that's going on within their business. Some of the challenges, they're going to be personal, they're going to be business challenges. We want to help at least get people on a roadmap, on a path to successfully adopting, putting a strategy together with successful adoption being the key goal there, with business value returns on it, productivity returns, and those sorts of things. Probably laying out maybe a 90-day plan for everyone, something like that would be great too. So those are the things we're gonna come up with towards the end of the session. Once we've got all the groundwork, some of the learning exercises out of the way. So going back to what I was mentioning just before, if this slide will come up, let's see if it does. It's kind of taking its time. There we go. So here's a list of the tools that we're going to touch on during the workshop. Some of those may well be familiar with everyone, especially the top, certainly the top one, the large language models that are very popular at the moment. So we're going to take a look at those, but you'll see some other ones there. Some of them roles, job role specific in our different everydays, and some more general. Sabra, do you want to touch on some of the ones you're going to talk a little bit about, the ones that you're using quite regularly?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a big Claude fan. I use Claude quite a bit. And I actually use a really cool tool called Merlin, which is a platform that collects a lot of different AIs together to do different things. And you can set up some really in-depth projects with those. So I'd love to go over that a little bit to show you how that's helped me so much with some repetitive tasks and thinking through some tougher projects as well. Jasper is another one that is really useful. So it is like a project as well, but it's all about maintaining voice across all of your different platforms. It lets you automatically post to your WordPress website, things like that. It's pretty useful. Canva AI is another really good one. It's, I think, an underused part of Canva, but you can do so many different things with that. And I'm excited to show you guys everything that can do as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
The ones that I've used quite a bit.
Yeah. And for me, a couple of things here that stand out. Descript, I use quite a bit for transcript, recording meetings, transcriptions, not just meetings as well, videos, audio. Really helps with that, even editing, and having AI again as a support role, taking a support role as an editor in some of that stuff is super useful and it speeds the process up massively. Reclaim AI, that's my preferred task prioritization tool. We'll go into that. There are hundreds of those, including Motion, which we'll touch on. I'm not a massive fan of Motion. We'll talk about that. It's just a personal opinion. Others may disagree, but I prefer to use some more tools for the job and not be too broadly scoped in what their capabilities are.
Yeah.
And we'll tackle that. We'll tackle that during the workshop as well. And then Gemini's picking up a lot of momentum right now. I've been and some of my clients are asking me about that. They've heard about it. They want to know more about it. Can it reply to all their emails, and can it, it's going to, it's basically going to scrub through all their business data and come up as a great leader, great leader in the organization. So we're going to look at that. We'll do it. We're going to run a case study on that and just have a quick look at what it can and can't do, what we're confident with and what we're not confident with. So
Right.
they have a list of things that we want to tackle, quite a lot. There's a chunk there to do. We'll spend more time on some than others, but we really do want to do a hands-on with these and show everyone what they can and are good at, and maybe the things that they're not quite so good at.
Important.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we're doing. The workshop is going to be held on the 17th of September at 11 a.m. For 3 hours in downtown Salt Lake at the new Workive, as you mentioned. So I've got a couple of QR codes up here. The top one will take you to the Eventbrite link where you can sign up for that, and you'll get all the details of the workshop there. Every participant will receive a copy of the AI Driven Leader workbook. So that's a huge, that whole AI Driven Leader by Jeff Woods has been really, really inspirational for me. My background goes all the way back to AI in the early 90s. I got a master's in AI, and my first 2 jobs were back in the UK. We're actually developing AI tools, expert systems at the time. So I have a huge passion around AI, and so the leadership books I've seen come out recently, particularly the one by Jeff Woods here, the AI Driven Leader, has been a real inspiration. He really tackles this face on, but it's very practical, very reasoned. So I really enjoy it. So we're going to give out the workbook edition, which allows people to sort of work through that, answer some questions, see where they're at. We're going to do an assessment, an online assessment for everybody as well, to get them a baseline in as to finding out where they are in their onboarding process. So yeah, we're excited to see everyone there. We have limited seats, so we encourage people to sign up. Any last thoughts, Sabriel?
No, I mean, I'm just excited. I think it's a new world, and I can't wait to dig more into this.
Absolutely. So again, thanks everyone who took the time to listen in. That's our preview. We'll see if we can make this on demand at some point as well, in the couple of weeks ahead of the workshop. And for those interested, please sign up. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah. Great,
Thanks
Damien.
again. Thanks, Sabriel.
Thank you.